Tom eagerly anticipated the arrival of his friends for a sleepover at his house. It was a balmy summer evening, and the excitement of spending the night together filled the air. Tom's parents had gone away for the weekend, leaving the house empty for their gathering. Little did they know that this sleepover would take an unexpected turn. As the sun began to set, Mike, Sarah, and Lisa arrived, one by one. They brought snacks, board games, and a sense of anticipation. Laughter and conversation filled the living room as they settled down, ready for a night of enjoyment. They started playing games, indulging in treats, and sharing stories. The atmosphere was relaxed and joyful, and the hours slipped by unnoticed. However, as midnight approached, an unspoken tension gripped the room. Sarah seemed uneasy, frequently glancing over her shoulder, as if something troubled her. Concerned, Tom asked, "Sarah, is something bothering you?" Sarah hesitated before replying, "I don't know. I just can't shake this feeling that we're being watched. Maybe it's just my imagination playing tricks on me." The others chuckled, attributing her uneasiness to the late hour and the eerie ambience of the night. However, deep down, a sense of unease began to settle upon them all. To distract themselves, they decided to play a game of truth or dare, hoping to lighten the atmosphere and dispel their growing apprehension. When it was Mike's turn, he chose dare. Lisa, with a mischievous grin, challenged him to venture outside and explore the abandoned house next door. The old, dilapidated structure had always piqued their curiosity, with tales of mystery and ghostly encounters. None of them had ever dared to step foot inside. Mike swallowed hard but accepted the dare, eager to prove his bravery. He grabbed a flashlight and cautiously stepped out into the moonlit night, his friends observing his progress from the living room window. The closer he approached the abandoned house, the heavier the air became, tinged with a hint of foreboding, but he brushed it off as mere nerves. With a creak, the door swung open, emitting an eerie sound that sent a shiver down Mike's spine. He entered the house, the dust-laden air thick and suffocating. The floorboards creaked beneath his weight, adding to the unsettling ambience. Mike's heart raced as he explored room after room, each filled with remnants of the past. Just as he was contemplating giving up and returning to the safety of Tom's house, he heard a faint whisper, a soft voice that seemed to call his name. Mike froze in place, his blood turning to ice. He strained his ears, attempting to locate the source of the sound, but all he heard was the pounding of his own heart. Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind blew out his flashlight, enveloping him in darkness. Panic gripped Mike, and he fumbled for his phone, frantically trying to activate the flashlight app. When the weak light illuminated the room, he regretted it instantly. In the dim glow, he saw a figure standing before him, its features obscured in shadows. Its presence sent a surge of fear through Mike's veins, paralyzing him. The figure slowly raised a hand, beckoning him closer. Meanwhile, back in Tom's house, the others grew increasingly restless as minutes turned into an hour. Worried about Mike's prolonged absence, they decided to go after him. Lisa and Sarah grabbed their phones and flashlights, urging Tom to join them. Reluctantly, he agreed, the foreboding feeling intensifying with each passing moment. They cautiously entered the abandoned house, calling out Mike's name. The door swayed eerily in the breeze, inviting yet ominous. Trembling, they ventured forward, their flashlight beams cutting through the darkness like beacons of hope. As they made their way through the house, their hearts pounding in their chests, they stumbled upon a room with a broken window. Moonlight filtered in, casting an ethereal glow. And there, in the center of the room, they found Mike, frozen in terror, his gaze locked on the shadowy figure before him. "What? What is that?" Lisa whispered, her voice barely audible. Tom's voice trembled as he replied, "I don't know, but we need to get Mike out of here. Now." They rushed forward, grabbing Mike by the arms and pulling him away from the figure. As they reached the door, the figure emitted a bone-chilling scream, sending shivers down their spines. Adrenaline coursed through their veins as they ran, not daring to look back. Back in the safety of Tom's house, they locked the doors and huddled together, their minds reeling from a horrifying encounter. Mike was pale and shaken, unable to articulate his experience. The events of the night had shattered their sense of normalcy, leaving them grappling with the inexplicable. The group sat in the dimly lit living room, their minds racing with fear and confusion. They exchanged anxious glances, each contemplating the events that had unfolded. It was clear that something dark and inexplicable was happening, and they needed to find answers. As the first rays of dawn began to peek through the curtains, casting a faint glow over the room, a decision was made. They couldn't let fear consume them. They had to confront the mysteries that lay hidden within the abandoned house and uncover the truth behind the shadowy figure. Gathering their resolve, they retraced their steps from the previous night, determined to uncover the secrets that had disturbed their sleepover. With hesitant yet purposeful strides, they entered the old house once again, the weight of their shared fear lingering in the air. Room by room, they searched for any clues that could shed light on the events that had unfolded. Their eyes scanned the decaying furniture and peeling wallpaper, desperately seeking answers. The footprints they had discovered earlier guided them through the labyrinthine corridors, as if leading them toward an elusive truth. In a forgotten corner of the house, behind a faded tapestry, they stumbled upon a hidden compartment. Inside, they found a collection of old letters and photographs, remnants of a past long forgotten. As they perused through the faded memories, a haunting narrative began to unfold. The letters revealed a tale of love, betrayal, and tragedy that had unfolded within these very walls. The shadowy figure, it seemed, was the tortured spirit of a lost soul seeking redemption. The letters hinted at a history of dark secrets and untold suffering, painting a picture of a life plagued by remorse. Driven by a shared desire to bring peace to the tormented spirit and unravel the mysteries surrounding the figure, they sought assistance from a local historian. With their newfound knowledge, they discovered that the figure was that of William Turner, a troubled man who had met a tragic end in the very house they now stood. Armed with historical context, they set out to confront the spirit. In the quiet solitude of the abandoned house, they held a solemn ceremony, invoking compassion and forgiveness. Their words echoed through the dilapidated halls, resonating with a profound sense of empathy. In the midst of their heartfelt plea, a tranquil stillness washed over the house. The oppressive atmosphere dissipated, replaced by a sense of serenity. They felt a gentle breeze caress their faces, as if the tormented spirit had found solace in their compassion. Days turned into weeks, and the memory of that fateful sleepover slowly faded. The abandoned house, once a symbol of fear, began to reclaim its place in the community. It underwent renovations and became a place of refuge for those seeking shelter and hope. The friends remained close, forever bound by the extraordinary journey they had embarked upon that night. Their shared experience taught them the strength of unity, the power of empathy, and the importance of confronting their fears head-on. The sleepover that had turned into a haunting ordeal became a testament to their resilience and the unbreakable bond they forged. Gabriel, a thrill-seeking teenager with a taste for adventure, eagerly accepted an invitation from his classmate Alex for a sleepover at his house. It was a cool autumn evening as Gabriel packed his overnight bag and made his way to Alex's house. The neighborhood had an air of mystery, with ancient trees casting long, eerie shadows on the deserted streets. As Gabriel approached Alex's house, a shiver ran down his spine. The house stood at the end of a dimly lit street, its facade covered in ivy, and the windows adorned with ornate iron bars. The stories whispered among the students about the old mansion being haunted lingered in Gabriel's mind, but his curiosity and desire for adventure overshadowed his unease. Upon arrival, Gabriel rang the doorbell, and Alex swung the heavy wooden door open with a wide grin on his face. "Gabriel, welcome, my friend. I'm thrilled you could make it," Alex exclaimed, seemingly oblivious to the chilling atmosphere surrounding his home. Gabriel stepped inside, his eyes scanning the dimly lit foyer. The flickering candlelight danced on the walls, casting strange shapes that seemed to move in the corner of his vision. He suppressed a shudder and tried to convince himself that it was just his imagination playing tricks on him. The living room, where the sleepover was to take place, had an antique charm mixed with an undeniable sense of foreboding. The furniture was draped with dusty cloths, and an old gramophone sat in the corner, emitting hauntingly beautiful music that sent a chill down Gabriel's spine. As the evening progressed, Gabriel found himself joined by two other classmates, Chris and Marcus. They chatted and laughed, their youthful energy filling the room, momentarily dispelling the lingering unease. Alex suggested they play a game to add excitement to the night. Gabriel's heart skipped a beat when Alex proposed they play a game called The Enigma of Shadows. It was a popular local legend centered around the mysterious disappearances of previous occupants of the house. Gabriel hesitated, but the thrill of unraveling a real-life mystery overwhelmed his apprehension. He nodded, agreeing to participate. They gathered around a table strewn with cryptic notes, old photographs, and newspaper clippings. Alex explained the rules. They were to solve a series of puzzles and riddles to uncover the truth behind the house's dark history. Gabriel couldn't help but feel a knot forming in his stomach as the game commenced. As they delved into the enigmatic world of the game, their surroundings seemed to shift and change. The candlelight grew dimmer, casting elongated shadows that seemed to dance eerily across the room. Gabriel's heart raced with a mix of excitement and trepidation as they moved from one clue to another. Hours passed, and the group found themselves in what appeared to be an abandoned study. Dust-covered books lined the shelves, and cobwebs hung from the corners of the room. Gabriel's fingers brushed against a leather-bound journal, sending a chill down his spine. He pulled it out, intrigued by its ancient pages. Flipping through the pages, Gabriel's eyes widened as he read about a tragic event that had taken place in the house decades ago. It spoke of a young girl named Eliza, who had gone missing under mysterious circumstances. The pages were filled with her hauntingly beautiful sketches and heartfelt entries. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the room, extinguishing the candles. Darkness enveloped them, and Gabriel's heart thudded in his chest. Panic gripped the group as they fumbled in the dark, searching for a way out. In the darkness, Gabriel's hand brushed against a hidden latch on the bookshelf. The sound of grinding gears echoed through the room as a secret door was revealed. A dim light filtered through the crack, drawing their attention. Heart pounding, Gabriel cautiously pushed open the secret door, revealing a narrow staircase leading to a hidden chamber below. The group exchanged nervous glances before descending into the depths of the unknown. As they reached the bottom of the staircase, they found themselves in a chamber illuminated by a solitary, flickering lantern. The air was heavy with an otherworldly presence, sending chills down their spines. Shadows danced on the walls, seemingly alive with dark energy. In the center of the chamber stood a small pedestal, upon which rested a worn-out diary. Gabriel's curiosity overwhelmed him, and he reached out to pick it up. As he opened its weathered pages, he was greeted by Eliza's elegant handwriting, detailing the horrors she had endured within the house. The diary entries spoke of vengeful spirits, restless souls trapped within the walls, and a malevolent entity feeding off their fear. Eliza's final entry revealed that she had discovered a ritual to banish the evil from the house, but she had never managed to complete it. Gabriel's hands trembled as he shared the diary's contents with the rest of the group. Determination flickered in their eyes as they realized their purpose: to complete the ritual and bring peace to the tormented souls. With the diary as their guide, they embarked on a perilous journey through the house. They collected talismans, solved puzzles, and overcame terrifying encounters with the vengeful spirits that roamed the halls. Finally, they'd reached the heart of the house, a hidden chamber adorned with ancient symbols and a dark altar. With trembling hands, they arranged the talismans, lit the sacred candles, and recited the incantation from Elisa's diary. As the last word left their lips, a blinding light engulfed the room. A surge of energy radiated through the house, purging the malevolence that had plagued it for decades. The vengeful spirits dissipated, their anguished cries fading into the air. Breathing a sigh of relief, Gabriel, Chris, Marcus, and Alex stood in awe of the transformed house. The atmosphere shifted, and the once gloomy rooms became filled with warmth and serenity. Days turned into weeks, and the sleepover remained etched in their memories as an unforgettable adventure. The house regained its former glory, and the neighborhood whispered of its newfound tranquility. Gabriel and his friends grew closer through their shared experience, their bond solidified by the triumph over darkness. The sleepover had not only tested their courage, but also taught them the power of friendship and resilience in the face of the unknown. Years later, as they gathered together for another reunion, they would still fondly recount the sleepover that changed their lives, forever grateful for the twists and turns that led them to the heart of the haunting mystery. Henry eagerly awaited the summer vacation. He planned to spend it with his friends, and one evening they decided to have an overnight sleepover in the countryside. Henry and his friends, Michael and Emily, were an inseparable trio. They attended the same school and spent a lot of time together. After much discussion, they settled on spending the night in an old abandoned house that had a reputation for being haunted. The old mansion, known as the Wesley House, was located on the outskirts of town and was believed to be cursed. People spoke of strange and eerie happenings inside, but Henry and his friends dismissed it as mere rumors created by the locals for entertainment. In the evening, when the time came for a peaceful night, Henry invited Michael and Emily to his house to share the plan. He unrolled a map and showed them the Wesley House, explaining that it would be their unique and thrilling adventure. Michael and Emily were slightly hesitant, but their curiosity got the better of them, and they agreed to join Henry. That night, as dark clouds rolled in, the three friends set off on their journey. They arrived at the Wesley House, which looked ominous and dilapidated. The gates creaked as they entered the yard, as if warning them of an impending misfortune. Carefully navigating through debris, they entered the mansion. Inside the Wesley House, an eerie silence prevailed. Losing their usual cheerfulness, Henry, Michael, and Emily entered the main room, which had once been a grand living area. Dust covered the furniture and cobwebs adorned the corners, adding to the atmosphere of neglect and abandonment. Determined to uncover the truth, Henry, Michael, and Emily continued their exploration of the Wesley House. Each room they entered revealed more unsettling secrets, deepening the sense of foreboding that hung in the air. The friends could feel the weight of history pressing down upon them, urging them to unlock the house's dark secrets. As they entered a long-forgotten study, a gust of wind blew through the open windows, causing the candles to flicker. The room was filled with an oppressive silence, broken only by the sound of their own racing hearts. On the desk, they discovered a collection of faded letters, revealing a tragic tale of love and betrayal that had unfolded within those very walls. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, they pressed on, their steps growing more hesitant with each passing room. Shadows seemed to shift and dance, playing tricks on their minds. Strange whispers echoed in their ears, their origin elusive and haunting. With each revelation, their fear escalated, but their determination remained unyielding. They were captivated by the enigma that surrounded them, desperate to unravel the mystery that had plagued the Wesley House for so long. As the night wore on, the friends found themselves drawn to the darkest corner of the house. There, in a hidden chamber, they discovered an ancient occult symbol etched onto the floor. A shiver ran down their spines as they realized they had stumbled upon the heart of the house's supernatural presence. Their collective breaths held. They decided to perform a ritual, hoping to communicate with the entity that lingered within the Wesley house. Candles were lit, and they chanted ancient words they had found in their research, their voices trembling with a mixture of trepidation and anticipation. Suddenly, a chilling wind swept through the chamber, extinguishing the candles and plunging them into darkness. Panic surged within them as a low, haunting voice resonated through the room, filling their souls with dread. The entity had been awakened, and it demanded to be heard. Terrified, the friends huddled together, desperately seeking a way to appease the restless spirit. Memories flooded their minds, and they realized the tragic history that had bound the Wesley house to its supernatural fate. In a moment of clarity, Henry, with a trembling voice, shared their newfound understanding of the Wesley house's past. It had been a place of love and joy, but its inhabitants had succumbed to greed and betrayal. The entity that haunted the house was a tormented soul seeking redemption and release from its eternal torment. Summoning every ounce of courage, the friends vowed to help the spirit find peace. They offered their empathy, acknowledging the pain and suffering that had consumed the entity for decades. Their genuine compassion seemed to touch the ghostly presence as its malevolent energy slowly transformed into a bittersweet melancholy. With a final sigh, the spirit faded away, leaving the Wesley house still and quiet. The dark aura that had plagued the mansion lifted, and a sense of serenity settled upon the worn walls. Henry, Michael, and Emily looked at each other, relieved and forever changed by the encounter. Henry, determined to unravel the mysteries surrounding the house, suggested exploring each room. They cautiously moved through the dimly lit corridors, their footsteps echoing ominously. The air was heavy with a musty scent, and the floorboards creaked beneath their weight. As they ventured further into the house, they discovered old photographs and discarded belongings, hinting at a forgotten past. The walls whispered secrets of bygone days, and each room held a tale waiting to be told. The friends couldn't help but feel a sense of unease as they delved deeper into the mansion's history. In one room, they stumbled upon a hidden door concealed behind a bookshelf. Curiosity got the better of them, and they decided to investigate. The door led to a small, dimly lit chamber filled with dusty tomes and artifacts. They discovered a journal belonging to a previous owner, its pages worn with age. Henry opened the journal and began reading aloud. The words on the yellowed pages described strange occurrences within the Wesley house, tales of disembodied whispers, and inexplicable footsteps echoing through the halls. The more they read, the more the hairs on their necks stood on end. As the night grew darker, the friends couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. Shadows danced on the walls, and a chill ran down their spines. They knew they had stumbled upon something beyond their understanding, something that defied logical explanations. With a mixture of fear and excitement, they made a pact to uncover the truth behind the Wesley house. Little did they know, their sleepover had awakened a dormant presence that lurked within the haunted mansion, and they were about to embark on a journey that would test their courage and challenge their perception of reality. Alex couldn't contain his excitement as he prepared for the sleepover at his best friend's house, Jason. It was a Friday night, and they had planned a night full of movies, snacks, and games. Alex's parents dropped him off at Jason's house, which had always given him a mysterious vibe. As soon as Alex entered the house, he noticed how dimly lit it was. The hallway was lined with old family portraits, their eyes seemingly following his every move. Despite the eerie atmosphere, he brushed off his unease, attributing it to his overactive imagination. Jason's parents greeted Alex warmly and left them to enjoy their sleepover. The boys settled into the living room, surrounded by shelves filled with antique dolls. Alex couldn't help but feel their eyes were piercing into his soul. They started their night with a horror movie marathon. The tension in the room grew with each terrifying scene, and Jason's house seemed to come alive with creaks and whispers. Alex's imagination began to play tricks on him, making him question what was real and what wasn't. During a break, Jason suggested they explore the house. Alex hesitated, feeling a knot in his stomach, but he didn't want to appear afraid. They tiptoed through the dimly lit hallways, their footsteps echoing ominously. As they entered an old study, Alex noticed a dusty book lying open on a desk. Curiosity got the best of him, and he started reading the page. It was a diary entry written by a girl named Emily, who used to live in the house decades ago. The diary spoke of strange occurrences, sleepless nights, and the feeling of being watched. Suddenly, they heard a noise coming from upstairs. Alex and Jason exchanged glances, their hearts pounding in unison. They cautiously made their way upstairs, trying to ignore the uneasiness that enveloped them. They entered a room at the end of the hallway, and their blood ran cold. The room was filled with antique toys, their glassy eyes glinting in the moonlight. The boys shuddered as they noticed one particular doll on a rocking chair, seemingly moving on its own. Without warning, the door slammed shut behind them, sealing them inside. Panic surged through Alex's veins as he struggled to open the door, but it remained firmly shut. They were trapped. As the room grew colder, Alex's mind raced to find a solution. He remembered seeing a set of old keys on a shelf downstairs. With a newfound determination, he and Jason started searching the room for any hidden passages or clues. Just as despair began to set in, Alex stumbled upon a loose floorboard. He pried it open, revealing a small compartment containing the missing set of keys. With trembling hands, he inserted the key into the door's lock, and to their relief, it opened. The boys rushed out of the room, leaving the haunted dolls behind. They raced downstairs and out of the house, gasping for breath as they stood in the safety of the night. They vowed never to enter Jason's house again and return to their own homes, the memory of the terrifying sleepover etched in their minds. Weeks passed since that chilling sleepover at Jason's house, and Alex couldn't shake off the lingering sense of unease. Every creak in his own home made him jump, and he found it difficult to sleep at night. He knew he had to confront his fear and find closure. One day after school, Alex mustered up the courage to research the history of Jason's house. He discovered that it had been built in the early 1900s and had a dark past. Rumors circulated about a girl named Emily, who had mysteriously disappeared while living in the house. Driven by curiosity and a desire for answers, Alex reached out to local historians and even found an old newspaper article about Emily's disappearance. The article described the intense search efforts, but her fate remained unknown. It mentioned how the house had been abandoned for years after her disappearance, as people believed it to be cursed. Armed with this knowledge, Alex decided to visit Jason and share his findings. He found Jason in his backyard, brooding and distant. Alex explained what he had discovered and suggested they confront their fears together by returning to the house one last time. Reluctantly, Jason agreed, recognizing that they needed closure. That evening, as the sun began to set, they approached the old house. The air felt heavy with anticipation, but they pushed forward, determined to unravel the mystery surrounding Emily's disappearance. As they entered the house, they were greeted by the same eerie atmosphere they had experienced during the sleepover. The dolls on the shelves seemed to taunt them with their glassy eyes, but this time, they felt a strange sense of familiarity. Guided by their research, they made their way to the study and found Emily's diary lying on the desk. Alex flipped through its pages, discovering chilling accounts of Emily's experiences in the house. She spoke of restless nights, disembodied whispers, and the feeling of being trapped within its walls. Deep in their investigation, Alex and Jason heard a soft, ethereal voice, barely audible but unmistakably present. It whispered Emily's name, sending shivers down their spines. Following the voice, they ascended the stairs, their hearts pounding in their chests. They entered the room filled with antique toys, and their eyes were drawn to the rocking chair where the doll had moved before. As they approached it, the room fell silent. Suddenly, a soft, melancholic melody filled the air, and the doll began to rock back and forth. Alex and Jason exchanged a knowing glance, realizing that Emily's spirit was still trapped within the house. Empathy and compassion welled up within them as they understood her need for release. They held hands, summoning the courage to confront the unknown. With a voice trembling but filled with determination, Alex spoke to Emily's spirit. He expressed their understanding of her pain and longing, urging her to find peace and move on from this realm. They assured her that they would never forget her and promised to honor her memory. In that moment, the atmosphere shifted, and the room felt lighter. The doll's movements ceased, and the haunting melody faded away. Alex and Jason felt a sense of closure, and a weight lifted from their shoulders. Leaving the house for the final time, the boys looked back, grateful for the chance to help Emily find peace. They knew the sleepover and the subsequent journey had transformed them, deepening their bond and teaching them the importance of empathy and facing their fears.